Hi, everybody. I'm letting the room fill up, as it were, waving to all of you, waving to this beautiful art. Awesome. Denise Barretto's in the house, talking with Beto. Oh, Bryana, you're right where you're supposed to be. Hi, everybody. Welcome to, hey, boss. Welcome to another edition of the Lisa D Show on Instagram, IGTV, which has been so fun. This is our weekday 6 p.m. check-in to see how the rest of the world artists, hi Liz, hi Shannon, are doing. How, the Star Wars edition, exactly. I'm such a lame-o. I forgot the whole May the 4th be with you. Then I feel as though I have a list, but I don't. So today, as many of you know, we are beginning week number 4 of this weekday 6 p.m. show, which I have to say, granted, I'm sure you're enjoying it because you're back, right? But this daily deadline has become the thing that gets me through my day, and I'm super grateful for all of you for participating and watching, and I'm also super grateful for Liz and Tiago for being the brains behind this operation, but also to all of the guests who are willing to jump on this new technology and share their stories. So this week is going to be another amazing week, right? We've got, hi, Jack. We have today Bryana Bibbs, who we're going to do a studio tour, look at some of her new work. Then we are going to talk to Joey Garfield tomorrow. Amazing, talented filmmaker, artist friend. He's the guy behind Moundtown. We are going to talk to the mayor, find out what Evanston's plan is, how we're all gonna engage again. Thursday, we're gonna hear from Nora O'Connor, who's just awesome. And then Friday, we have Ellie Hazlitt in the studio. She's another artist who is prolific and amazing and awesome, and just invented a wallpaper line out of basically art that her friends' kids made that she morphed into art. So we've got a great week ahead of us. If you missed this show live, which you're not because you're watching it right now, it is on the Evanston_Made IGTV channel. So before further ado, Bryana, if you could wave to me again, I will patch you in. And for those of you who are just meeting Bryana for the first time, her Instagram handle is something definitely that you need, I would highly recommend doing a deep dive into. Bryana, Bibbs. She is a fiber artist and she does beautiful work, but lately she's been doing these really cool paint strip things, which I don't want to pregame too heavily because I want us all to see them together. But they're amazing, and she's upcycling and recycling basically paint strips. I know, that sounds crazy, but it's true. All right, Bryana, I just sent you a link-de-doo, and I'm gonna go live with you and connecting. Oh,
hey.
Nice to see you.
It's so good to see you. How are you?
Better. What is that beautiful ceiling? Is that the studio?
Oh, yeah, it is. So let me show you. This is my natural lighting that I have in my studio space that I love very, very much and is very helpful for me to have in this space. So yeah.
It's so awesome. How are you doing, Bryana?
That's a really good question. I feel a little bit stressed. I feel overwhelmed. I feel like there's maybe a little bit of hope in all of this, but I'm really trying to use this time to experiment with any and everything that I have maybe lying around the house. So, yeah.
And I've definitely been trying to pay as much attention as possible to what you're up to.
Yeah.
And you've been typically you're a fiber artist, but
Right.
you've been experimenting with paint chips.
Paint.
Why? Why are you doing that?
So funny story. I have like these plastic tarps throughout my studio that I'll show you. Um, and I noticed that when I was painting on them, this is one of the pieces, by the way, I was supposed to put in my exhibition that was supposed to open this past Friday, which is a bummer, but it's going to be postponed. But anyway, on those tarps there, I noticed that the paint would peel off really nicely. So I thought, why don't I just make paint peels? And then I thought, well, they're flexible, so you can weave with them, right? So I ended up doing that, and it ended up turning out to be really, really cool.
Okay,
And
wait,
it's very, yeah,
that is
yes,
paint strips that you have woven?
correct.
Such a badass. That's huge. What are you? Oh my God. That yellow is fantastic, number
Thank
one.
you.
And what were you weaving them with? That's not on a loom. What is that? How are you
It
doing
is
that?
actually, it is actually on a loom. So this is what this is my loom, by the way. Sorry, I'm going to be like flipping my camera
No,
around.
that's fine. That's a huge loom, and you're running paint chips through there?
Yeah, so it's a cotton warp. It's a black cotton warp, and then I take these paint peels that peel off very easily. Liquitex is really good about promoting their paint being, flexible, which clearly it is. And then this here is a pouring medium that you can use to make like marbling. So eventually I'm going to weave with this and see what that looks like. But yeah, you just put the paint on like a hard surface. I've been using like plastic tops. Let it dry. I've been really impatient, so some of them are like kind of scratched up a little bit because I'm like, I just wanted to get off. Um, but yeah, I've just peel it off, cut it up. You can see some of them are already kind of cut, and they cut really easily. And I just started weaving with them.
Okay, so the whole feed right now, I know you can't see it. Everyone's like, so cool, that's dope. So damn cool. Like, freaking out.
Thank you. And then this is also pouring medium too. I actually did this over the last week. This is pouring medium. And then I had all of these like random fiber things that I just decided to pour in there to see if it would peel off fine. And clearly it does. So I'm going to experiment with that too. So yeah.
So you're basically making out of the detritus and the garbage in your studio. Are you
Yeah.
doing that now 'cause you're going mad, or have you wanted to do that for a really long time? Like, where are you
No,
at?
I really don't think I would have done it if quarantine didn't happen because I didn't like sit and think like, what can I weave with? What different, because I feel like people always think, oh, you can weave with cotton, linen, wool. They think of like normal materials to weave with, but my thought, especially with upcoming weaving workshops and things like that, is I want to inspire people to think about different materials that they can work with. And I knew that Liquitex obviously has a very flexible structure to it when it's dry, and I figured it would be fine. But I will admit, I didn't expect for that piece to turn out as good as it did,
Oh, damn.
because it is really cool.
Yeah, it looks. What is behind your head, if you don't mind me asking?
Yes, so this is a strip weaving piece that I was going to put in the show. It'll still be in the show when it opens in July. I believe we decided on July 22nd to August 15th. And this is the piece that would have been in that show.
And the strip weaving that's individual pieces.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of strip weaving. I think that it's really nice to take something that's really small and then sew it together to make kind of a bigger piece. So these are all roughly like 5-inch strips. These are maybe like 20 of them that have been sewn together and have all been hand woven on that loom. So
Is there a numeric significance? Is there numbers or etches that we should be paying attention to? Or
Not necessarily, no. With this one in particular, so a lot of my work is about my personal life, and I kind of consider each piece to be a journal in a sense. So this was just me journaling a specific event that happened in my life. I titled it How Many More, thus the the tick marks that are all over it. So yeah, so that's what this piece is about. But everything is strip woven. I don't weave anything big, so everything is strip woven and sewn together at some point.
super beautiful. And you
Thank
don't
you.
work monochromatically. Some of your work is either one color, two colors, tons of like what where are you at in terms of color right now? Like are
Yeah.
you more of is it more attractive or is it ugh?
So color always has a significance to me. So while I was studying at SAIC, I was really inspired by kente cloth and the meaning between the patterning and the colors. And I thought it was really powerful to have colors represent someone's story. So I kind of took that and then incorporated it into my own life and thought, okay, well, what does blue mean to me? What does red mean to me? The piece I had shown you a little bit ago, you know, that's all blue, so that has a significant meaning to me. I have this red piece over here that's also going to be in the show that
Somebody
has
was
a very...
Oh, that's many, many reds. Someone is asking about the
Yeah.
scale of this work. If you step all the way back, this
Yes.
book is 6 feet by 4 feet. How is this work?
So this one is like, oh, I forgot. This one is maybe 70 inches tall.
And
Yeah.
okay, so these are huge. And that's like 47 reds. How many reds are we looking at?
Yeah, it's a lot of reds. It's like fluorescent reds. It's a dark red. There's like red oxide in here.
Oh.
Cadmium red. There's a bunch of reds in here.
Was also asking where your show was going to be that is being
Yes.
posted live.
Good question. So the title of the exhibition is called Power Trip, and it was supposed to be at Arc Gallery here in Chicago. It's 1463 West Chicago Avenue, so that's where it's supposed to be. It's still up on their website. Like I said, it's supposed to be postponed to July 22nd through August 15th, so hopefully it will happen.
And where is your studio for everyone drooling over your creative?
Yeah. So my studio is at the Bridgeport Art Center in Bridgeport. So it's 1200 West 35th Street. And typically there's open studio Fridays that happen, you know, the third Friday every month. But because of quarantine, that hasn't been able to happen. So
Once quarantine lifted, then people can, if they want to, go to Bridgeport Art Center.
Mm-hmm.
And do you share that studio space, or you have the whole thing for you?
No, this is all me. So there's, yeah, this entire space is me. But I mean, so it's like a loft. So right when you walk out, I'm on the fashion floor, the fashion textile floor. So there's designers nearby, you know, that are doing costumes and dresses for people. So I'm really the only textile person on this floor.
Okay, and now you have to show us another piece because people are just going mental over your work.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I will show you the recycled paper that I was doing. So again, thinking a lot about materials that are around the house that you can weave with. So this is junk mail. This is all junk mail that I had because, you know, now's a good time to like clean up your house, right? So I found all this junk mail, and I don't have paper making materials at all. I don't have the equipment. So I thought, well, what if I blend it and put the pulp on like that grease screen that you use for like when you're cooking bacon, so it like drains out. So I put the paper pulp on there, put it in the sink, pressed it down really, really, really flat, And then I mean, it worked. It made the paper. And then these are the weavings
Oh, stop it.
that I made them with.
And that's all junk mail?
It's all junk mail. So the color, I will say that's a bright pigmented color, except for this brown, is from a drawing chalk that I had. So I accidentally bought the wrong chalk and I said, well, what if I just throw it in the blender and see what happens? And it changed
And
color. So
there's sticks between the different color layers. What is that?
so
What
this,
sticks?
yes.
Yeah, what is
It's so everything that I do is plain weave for the most part, which is essentially the easiest woven structure you can do. It's just going over, under, all, throughout the whole weaving. So with this one, I inserted the strip like this, and
like
then,
right?
right, and then I cut here to make it look like this, to make it look like it's being pulled through, if that makes sense. Oh, okay.
Love those. And can you step back so we can see the scale again?
Yeah. Yeah, these are small. These are like 10 inches.
Oh, so I'm looking at several of them.
Yes. Yeah, so these are really, really small.
Those are fantastic, Bryana. I love those.
Thank you. Thank you.
What a use of junk mail. Okay,
Right?
and then what is that crazy colored thing to the right and up? What is that?
This is craft fluff. So it's just like a polyester fluffy fun thing that I decided to weave with. Yeah.
Love it. And why is it, so I know that you had a workshop that a friend of mine attended, and you were very much, and you sounded like you were encouraging the workshop attendees to just be more expressive through the materials they were using. Where did you get your inspiration to be brave and creative with weaving materials? Like, where did you learn that?
Yeah, so I think one of the ways I learned that is because I think so many people, when I told somebody about that specific weaving workshop, they were like, oh, are we going to be making pot holders? And I'm like, no, no. I mean, you can, right. Like, you can make pot holders if you want to, but I don't want that to be a workshop. Like, I don't want it to be a workshop where people feel like they're going to be making pot holders. But I'm also really inspired by Sheila Hicks, who is an incredible textile artist who experiments with different kinds of materials and things like that. I think she's like in her 80s and she's still making work, which is incredible. I mean, I'm sure she has assistants at this point, but I'm really inspired by her and the materials that she weaves with. So.
And you play not only with materials, but you really play with scale. Like this piece behind you, the black and white, is math. The first time that I was familiar with your work, you're an instructor at Evanston Arts Center. They had a staff show, and you were standing in front of a weaving that is 4 feet by 4 feet. Massive.
I have that. Yeah.
I didn't know you yet, and you were touching it, and I was going to be like, excuse me. I was like, oh my God, it's her. And I wanted to such a beautiful freaking piece. And
Thank you.
Gail is so brave. Why also give yourself permission to be so huge in your work? Is it because people always just make pot holders, Bryana?
Yeah, I think that's why. No, I think, well, with that one, I think I told you in that moment that I kind of wished it was bigger, but they gave us like a size limitation, and you were like, no, it doesn't need to be bigger. But I mean, I still look at it and I'm like, yeah, it totally needs to be bigger. But I just kind of go for it. Like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to make anything small because I just don't think it's in me. I think work that is big, depending on what it is, has a really powerful meaning to it. And it just becomes really overwhelming and it maybe a good or a bad way, and I think that's what I want my work to do. So.
And how long have you been in that space that you're in right now, in that studio?
So I've been in this space for 3 years. As I told you, I left my daytime job back in November, so I've been here.
Very
Thank
proud
you.
of you.
Thank you. So yeah, none of this would be up, I think, if I was still at that job. Like, there'd be no way. But I've been constantly coming ever since November. Obviously, I haven't been coming as much because of quarantine, but yeah.
And that obviously you can work in such big scale because you have a huge studio space.
Yeah.
But the kind of work that weaving is so intricate. I mean, I think people work small because it can be, right? So
Right.
what is the body of work that was going to go in the show was there a theme to the body of work? Was it a mashup of a bunch of different pieces? What can people expect at ARC when it reopens in July?
Yeah, so this work has a lot to do with my past 10 years and being involved with someone that was very toxic to my life. And this is just kind of my response to that, because this is all work that I'm sure I would have made at that time, but I didn't feel confident enough to do it. So that's essentially what it is. I obviously don't expect people to relate to my work. I think some people will, they might look at it and say, oh yeah, somebody treated me like crap too. That title is relatable to me. Or when I showed the woman who's in charge of exhibitions at Art Gallery the red piece, she said, oh yeah, I know exactly what that means. And that's really nice for me that she can relate to it, but I also find joy in people that can relate to my work differently. They might look at a color or they might look at the material and say, oh, this reminds me of something else, which is totally fine to me.
I love it. Can you show us one more piece, because people are freaking?
Yes. Yes. Okay. More things.
Because we need to just see all your work.
That's fine. I'm telling you, when quarantine is over, if anybody wants to pop by and see what I'm doing, I'm totally fine with that.
From Boston, El Paso, Evanston, we're coming on. Studios
all right. So these are weavings still. Again, plain weavings, nothing dramatic. And these are clay pieces that I made because I had leftover clay. And yeah, I just was like, let me make all these weird shapes and see what happens. And I just started weaving with them.
Add objects to your weavings outside of the main base that you're working with?
I don't, but I'll tell you, with the paint peels, I've definitely thought of pieces to do now, because I think it's, I love weaving with paint. I never thought I'd say that, but I enjoy it.
And why do you have extra clay around? Because are you multidisciplinary? What's your sitch?
No, so I felt like I was a sculptor one day, and I had that clay I bought it 2 years ago, and I found it still good.
Nice.
And I just decided to weave with it. And then these I did over the weekend. So these are plain weaves, over, under, over, under, but they have these slits in them. So yeah.
Nice.
Thanks.
Okay, now you have to, repeat request. You have to show us the red one more time. Sorry.
Okay. Okay.
And then zoom in, not to totally direct the YouTube, but
okay, my dog's in the way. She's in the way.
That looks like a painting, but as you approach it, obviously, then I can start seeing the texture. Did you dye any of that yourself?
No, I did a lot of mixing. I did a lot of trying to figure out as many reds as I possibly could.
Oh my God, that is just awesome. People are freaking out over this. Yeah,
and they're and this is strips, by the way. So these are all strips that I'd hand sewn to make it one big piece of cloth, I guess you could say, and then I painted on it.
And then you painted over the sewn together strips of cloth.
Correct. Yeah.
And your MFA is in which discipline?
So I don't have my MFA. I do have my BFA. But the great thing about SAIC is it was interdisciplinary. So you got to just kind of hop around different departments. But towards the end of being at SAIC, stayed in the fiber.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you stayed in fiber. I'm so happy you quit your job.
Thanks.
Got rid of that toxic person. I mean, like, everything is so fantastic, and you're so young, and everyone
I feel like I'm old though. Like I'm 28 and I feel like life is over.
Check your mouth out right now. You are making this work at 28. Are you kidding? What you're going to be making at 400? You're awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Excited that we got to talk to you. And I was, for full disclosure, one piece of Bryana's was going to hang in my art gallery in June. I was to see her in the Evanston Made show, but just because things aren't going to happen right now doesn't mean that they're not going to happen in a little bit. And I'm really glad to know you, and I am so excited that all of these people watching today.
I know. I'm happy about that too.
Go to her Instagram. And what is your website? BryanaBibbs.com?
Bibbs.com. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I will add lots of link-to-dos. Super grateful for you.
Thank you. I'm grateful for you too. I definitely wouldn't be doing this if I hadn't met you and you hadn't told me to not touch my work. So
I hadn't yelled at you. Wasn't that nice?
I know. It was so nice.
Right. Well, get back to work because you have a lot to do. And
I do. Great. It was great talking to you too. All right. Bye.
Oh my goodness, everybody. So on Instagram, you're going to check out Bryana Bibbs, B-I-B-S. Her website, Bryana, B-R-Y-A-N-A, Bibbs.com. That was amazing. And that was so much work. The difficult thing with these studio visits is you're like, how am I going to negotiate showing all that work? Bravo. That was super fun. Okay. So we hit the week off on a high note. That was great. I'm so excited. Okay. That was a really good 30 minutes spent with a creative human who's doing great things. Creative human who quit her job, got rid of the junky relationship, and is just kicking ass and making lots of art. So if you like what you see, once the air clears, do a studio visit, meet her in person. Hopefully you'll get to see her exhibiting in Evanston sometime soon. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'm signing off to go have dinner. Thanks, Bryana. Congratulations. And yeah, the red one. Sorry that we made you go back and forth to it like 55 times. Tomorrow, Joey Garfield. Super awesome. Then the mayor. Then Nora O'Connor's going to sing to us. Then we're going back into another studio on Friday with Elliot Hazlett. I'm so excited. All right, so way to go, Bryana, and everybody else. Thank you so much for watching. That was amazing. And goodbye. See you tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Oh, Jordan Scott, I'm sorry. That's what I meant to tell you. These are going to be behind me all week long. They're mandalas that are created by Jordan Scott. He's a photographer, friend, teacher, Evanston Made member. And he's made collages out of stamps that he's collected because he's a super avid stamp collector. And then he's made these really intricate like mandala stamp. Oh, sorry about the little bit of glare, but they're in the windows at 1100 Florence. So you should come see them. Oh, wasn't that good that I didn't drop it? We're at the corner of Greenleaf and Florence, also on 1100florence.com. But they will be behind me all week long. Okay, now I'm really saying goodbye. Sorry, I went over. Later. Thank you for listening.